particularly when you're playing against teams that are fighting for positions and spots who will be playing hard against you.
Kevin, there was a report recently that you might be headed to Washington as coach of the Bullets, and I've got to ask you point blank here, are those true reports?
That's not a true report. I have never talked to anybody in the Washington organization. There was a rumor started out in New York papers, and there's no truth to it whatsoever.
All right, Kevin, thank you, and good luck the rest of the year. And I know you're looking forward to the Meadowlands and all the good things that are coming up.
I think we got a great future in New Jersey.
All right, thank you.
Dave.
Kevin Lockery, the coach of the New Jersey Nets, who have lost 5 of their previous games to the Boston Celtics. And right now, John is with the Celtics coach, Bill Fitch.
Right, I am. Bill, your team has had an outstanding year. As a matter of fact, if you have one more win, you have the biggest turnaround in the history of the NBA from one season to the other. And that must be gratifying to you.
It will be if we do it. Right now, that's everything is if we do it.
Bill, you know, you've made some big moves. You picked up Pete Maravich, and I personally think it was a great move. I certainly think you do, and it's starting to work out for you now because he's had to play with Chris Ford being absent.
Well, it's given some depth at that spot, and we needed that jump shooter, and he's given the last couple of ball games, he's done a fine job, John.
Okay, Bill, now you're closing in on the playoffs at this point. Is your team psychologically where you would like to have them?
We will be. We will be. Right now, we're on 8 hours sleep. We're not ready for anything except, I hope, raw meat out here today.
Okay, one final question. Do the Celtics have a weakness?
If it's coaching, probably, John.
Okay, Bill, thank you very much. Good luck. Bill Fitch, coach of the Boston Celtics. Back to you, Dick.
Well, if the season were to end right now, this would be the way the Eastern Conference lineup would be. Boston, Atlanta, Philadelphia, San Antonio, New York, and Houston. But there are big battles. Boston, Atlanta have won the division titles. Philadelphia is safe, but San Antonio, the New York Knicks, who lost to Washington yesterday, and Houston are fighting. Now, this is the way they line up. San Antonio, 39-38. New York, 38-40. The New York Knicks have a 2-game lead in the loss column over, or the San Antonio Spurs do, over New York, Houston, and 3 in the loss column over Washington. So San Antonio is good. In the Western Conference, Los Angeles and Milwaukee, the division leaders. Seattle, Phoenix, Kansas City, and Portland. Now, you cannot see the graphic, but I'm telling you the teams that have qualified for the playoffs. The one big battle, the last one between Portland and San Diego. Portland has a 1/2 game lead over San Diego, and Portland 35-32, and they play tonight out on the West Coast. The lineups for the New Jersey Nets: Maurice Lucas and Jan Van Bredekov starting at forward. It'll be George Johnson at center and Mike Newland and Eddie Jordan in the backcourt. For the Celtics, Cornbread Maxwell and Larry Bird up front. Dave Cowens the center, Pete Maravich and Nate Archibald the guards. Bill Fitch, the coach of the Celtics, and Kevin Lockery, the coach of the Nets. And we're set to go here at Boston Garden. The Celtics in the white uniforms. We understand we do not have a picture right now, but we are endeavoring to get it back, and please bear with us. Problems worked out as we welcome you back to Boston Garden. Dick Stockton and John McLaughlin. First quarter action with 5:13 to go. Pete Maravich misses outside, and now we have a chance to bring you up to date. In a surprise opening, New Jersey moved out to a 10-0 lead. They scored their first 10 points of the game before the Celtics came back. Mike Newland and Maurice Lucas each have 6, Eddie Jordan 4, and so far it's been a very solid game plan, John.
Well, the game plan's worked out very nicely for New Jersey. As you see the ball go inside to Lucas because Maxwell fell to the floor. Maxwell's had some ankle problems. But the strategy, Dick, coming into this game by New Jersey was to go at Archibald as much as possible.
And on defense, the big matchup here is Jan Van Bredekov. The Nets' best defensive player is on Larry Bird, and Bird has yet to score so far. Maravich hits from the corner. Pistol Pete, one of the big comeback stories for the Boston Celtics. He has averaged over 23 points in the last 3 games. He scored 31 points earlier this week. The score now is 18-10. And Lucas could not control in Maravich, who started the game at guard along with Tiny Archibald. Driving the baseline in a crowd. And we'll have a foul against the Nets, and it's against Eddie Jordan. We're going to have our first substitution of the game right now. Rick Roby coming into the ball game. Roby has turned into a player that they liken to Jack Sikma. That's how much he has come on. And he really starred when Dave Cowens was hurt, when he was out with a foot injury for 14 games. And he replaces Maxwell.
To show his versatility, Dick, they're bringing him in at a forward position now. Maxwell out for the Celtics. Now, as you see Archibald missing the first free throw, they can use Cowens or Roby at a high or low position, moving them around.
Archibald leads the team in assists, as you see, averaging 14 a game as he misses the free throw, and Roby alertly the rebound. Archibald misses, and Lucas the rebound. So Maurice Lucas, number 33, and Jan Van Bredikoff, number 20, are playing up front for the blue-shirted Nets. Mike Newland controls number 14 in the backcourt with Eddie Jordan, 15. And the center is George Johnson, 52, who is not a renowned scorer. Sets a pick for Jordan, who misses the shot. Larry Bird, you'll see his passing wizardry, I'm sure, this afternoon. Archibald, baseline, no one picked him up.
No team defense by the Nets that time, and they have to communicate a little better. They've been having problems in that area all year long. And of course, the Celtics not too concerned with the Nets as far as what they're doing. The Celtics want to play their game.
Celtics have narrowed the net lead to 6. A surprise, as we mentioned. The Celtics have won all 5 previous games against the Nets this year, and by a whopping average of 17 points per game. Personal foul is on Dave Cowens. Robert Smith, number 10, is in the backcourt now for the New Jersey Nets, their first substitution. The Celtics have 4 team fouls in this first quarter, the Nets 2. 6-point lead for the Nets. Van Bredikoff, who is always reluctant to shoot, misses there. Roby the rebound. Maravich. Newland defended him well, and they called the foul on Mike, and Mike is upset with Jim Capers. Jim Capers and Jack Neese are our officials again.
Here you'll get a chance to look at it. Newland playing the good defense, and he does what he's supposed to do. Try to go straight up in the air, but he had just enough forward movement. They called the foul.
Long cross-court pass from Bird to the pistol. Underhands it in. Pete Maravich, 31 years old. He said, if I started my career with Boston or New York, my career might have been different. I might have had more victories, more championships. They wouldn't have called me a hot shot. And the Nets have called timeout. 2 minutes and 53 seconds remaining in the first quarter, and the Celtics have narrowed the lead to 18-14. Like Larry Bird, that magic puts on a show, and you'll see him next Friday night. That's our score. New Jersey leading Boston. The Celtics had a 4-game winning streak snapped by the red-hot Cleveland Cavaliers, 109-105 last night. The Cavs have won 8 in a row, but the Celtics can wrap up first place by winning their remaining 3 home games, including this afternoon, but they trail here by 4. Robert Smith working on Archibald. As John said, the strategy in it worked as he penetrates and scores, and a 6-point lead again.
The strategy certainly didn't work the last time these two teams met. This time it is working somewhat, and I'm sure Kevin Lockery would like to keep the pressure on in that area.
Monday night, a big win for the Celtics as the Nets going through the motions. They don't show it in this game. Bird inside, double team Van Bredikoff. Good defensive player, Roby the loose ball. And they just didn't get many breaks there.
The Celtics having problems putting it in the basket, but the Nets have had their problems doing that against the Celtics. They're only shooting 41% in the 5 meetings against the Celtics.
Newland has been a savior for the Nets. Anything they've gotten this year, Newland responsible, averaging over 21 points a game.
As a matter of fact, he scored 52 against the Celtics this year.
And that was the best effort. And hitting from the corner is Mike Newland, a scrapper. He needs some help on this team, and if they had another strong guard, he'd be something else.
You know, he's so difficult to play against, Dick, because he moves continually without the ball. He's one of the strongest guards in the game.
Archibald is getting free to penetrate. Decided to go to pistol, double team, and tipping it up and in is Rick Roby. Now you see why they liken Roby to Jack Sikma, because he can go outside, he can muscle it up inside, and if you have to play rough, he'll do it.
Roby, one of those players you must block off. He loves to go to the offensive boards, and of course Maxwell, another player on their team that does a great job of it.
Smith forced that shot, but it went anyway. He gave up his dribble against Tiny, and Roby, on a deflection off of Lucas, goes in, blocked by George Johnson.
And he's one of the best.
Yes, he is. Second in the league in block shots, and then the Nets with the lead, 8-point lead as we wind down to a minute to go. Traveling call on Maurice Lucas. And another substitution coming in, Gerald Henderson, number 43, who's 22 years old and was originally a 3rd-round San Antonio draft choice in '78, played in the Western League. And the Celtics brought in a lot of guards this year because they didn't know if Tiny Archibald was going.
Tiny out of the game. The Nets may go back to their regular strategy, the way they would normally play, rather than going at one man all of the time.
Roby finds Bird. If it goes, it's good, and the foul. So Larry Bird, who has yet to score, will go to the free throw line. It'll be a 2-shot foul, and that's the 4th team foul on the Nets. Personal foul is Jan Van Bredikov.
And Larry Bird, Dick, one of those players, like so many, that moves so well without the ball. He's not a person that just has to have the ball all the time. He'll continue to move without it, and that type of offensive player is just that much more difficult to defend.
He has his first points of the game. Bird averaging 21-3, leading the team in rebounds, 136 steals, tops on the club, second in assists.
And he's a rookie?
Wouldn't know it.
Isn't that amazing?
40 seconds remaining, first quarter, 24-18. The Nets have controlled this first period, moving out to a 10-0 lead to start it out. Van Bredikov, tough pass. Robert Smith, baseline. Henderson almost got a piece of that. So now Gerald Henderson, who's 22 years old, watched by Robert Smith. Roby at the three-point line. Bird is defended well, double team. Swinging around. Maravich. Now Henderson is open. Bank shot. And Johnson, good defense, but the pistol was all alone, and the Nets are just not watching their men inside.
That's right. The Celtics getting too many offensive rebounds. They're going to have to block away.
And if it goes, it'll count for 3, but it doesn't, and that's the end of the first period. The New Jersey Nets came out strong with a 10-0 lead. The Celtics have come back, but after one period, still somewhat of a surprise with New Jersey leading 26-20. Pistol Pete Maravich at 31 years old says, I'm in on it, but kind of late. He wants to be on a champion. He could have signed with Philadelphia, could have signed with Boston, but this was one of Bill Fitch's moves, as you mentioned.
That's right, Dick. And you know, he says he loves starting now rather than coming off the bench because that's what he's been used to doing.
61% shooting for New Jersey, 11 for 18 in the first quarter. The Celtics were 8 for 24, far below at 33% as we start period 2. Dick Stockton and John McLaughlin in sold-out Boston Garden. Loops Maravich from ML Carr. ML Carr has a sprained left knee. He has been playing nonetheless, and now the Pistol has 10 points to lead everybody.
And that was a nice pass by ML Carr. He has a complete game, and one of the real strong parts of his game is his passing.
Gambling was Roby. Johnson, who has not been renowned as a shooter, averaging 6 points a game in his career, hit that one. And it's 28-22. First points of the game for the net center. Gerald Henderson, 43. Outside, Larry Bird fires. Van Bredikov. In the game Monday night, they had Cliff Robinson starting at forward with Lucas, and that didn't really work, and so that's why they've gone back to Van Bredikov on Bird, and so far it's worked.
Well, of course, they had to come in with a good defensive player on Larry Bird. Larry Bird hasn't got untracked at this point, but there's a lot of game left.
Newland is short, and he knew it, went after his own rebound nicely. He'll go out to VBK. Johnson lingering outside. The Nets leave the middle free inside.
The Nets run a point guard offense. They'll put 2 men on each side with Newland down low. They'll let Smith work one-on-one. That time he missed the shot, of course, but they get the rebound.
Newland wide open, left of the key, hits again. So Mike Newland now has 10 points. He's the Nets' leading scorer and an 8-point lead for New Jersey. New Jersey in last place, 32-46 on the year, eliminated officially Friday night in Philadelphia. Henderson in the crowd, goaltending against George Johnson, and the points will count. 30-24. An obvious call.
Here you'll see it again. This is a good call, but look at the penetration by Henderson. And this little guy has tremendous quickness, and they feel that he has real potential.
So Robert Smith seeing a lot of action off the top here. Smith has averaged just 11 minutes a game. Johnson outside. Roby defending him well. Now double team. Bird is helping out. Lucas muscling with Carr inside. Short. Lucas again. And there he pumped. There's something that the Nets are not happy about. Maurice Lucas with his penchant for pumping once or pumping twice when he had the shot the first time.
You know, there are a number of players around the NBA that will do this. Now, here he gets the ball back, and this is a habit that a player gets into.
Flag coverage starts next Sunday at 5 Eastern. The 1980 U.S. Grand Prix West. You'll say you saw it on CBS Sports.
Well, Rene Arnaud is the victor in the South African Grand Prix. He's one of the favorites for the Long Beach Grand Prix live next week. New Jersey net substitution, Cliff Robinson, who just turned 20, averaging over 13 a game. He scored 22 against the Celtics Monday night. Raw player, but he's got so much potential.
I think he's the youngest man in the NBA, and you talk about potential. Wow. He has the capabilities of having an inside game as well as a nice outside game.
2 free throws by Lucas. He has 10 points, and the Nets maintain the lead, 32-24, here with 9:55 remaining in the second quarter. Cliff Robinson, from USC, a hardship draft pick by the Nets. And we'll have a whistle and a foul away from the ball. And it's on Cliff Robinson, who scored at one game this year 45 points against the Pistons.
You know, offensively, Dick, both of these teams will try to post up quite a bit. The Celtics, of course, with Maxwell, Roby, and Bird, and Cowan sometimes, and Lucas for the Nets.
Another away from the ball foul. This one is on Maurice Lucas, and all of a sudden, the Nets have 2 team fouls with less than 3 minutes gone by in the second quarter. 32-24 the score. Roby, Maravich working against Roger Fegley in the game, and a loose ball foul will be called against Boston. Roger Fegley is in the game for New Jersey. This loose ball foul was against Rick Roby. And we'll show you Fegley right now. Number 22, he was acquired from the Washington Bullets for John Williamson. And Fegley, a superb outside shooter.
A great shooter. You cannot leave him open. He also goes to the basket just well enough that you have to honor that outside shot.
And he's got size.
Yes, he does.
Enough size. Working against Pete, and he... Foul on Pistol. He was just too quick for Maravich off the mark.
What they'll do, they'll start with the point offense, and in that situation, then they interchange and bring Fegley to the top and let him work one-on-one.
All right, we'll have a substitution. Jeff Judkins, number 32, is into the game now, replacing Maravich, who goes out with 10 points. Judkins averages 10 minutes of action, but just shows you the depth that this team has.
You know, actually, Dick, starting the season, I think that was one of the weaknesses of the Celtics. They didn't have a strong bench, but they've done a lot to improve that.
45 is Cliff Robinson. He's watched by Rick Roby. Goes low now to Lucas, looking for help. Celtics sloughing off on defense. Lucas is going to have to take the shot himself. In and out. Here's Carr. Judkins. And ML will slow it up outside. Don't forget, as we said, a sprained knee Friday. Played anyway with it.
The Nets have done a nice job getting back on the Celtic fast break.
Beautiful move by ML.
He started that move to the basket pretty far away from the basket, and actually you would expect to get more team defensive help, and that's been a problem the Nets have had.
Minor pressure by the Celtics. Gerald Henderson in particular, as he watches Robert Smith. Eddie Jordan has been on the bench, and Robert Smith has handled the point guard duty since the early going.
The Celtic defense is so good. As you look at Fegley here with the long shot coming up short, it's such a good defense that you try to clear out and let him bring the ball up one-on-one, and there's that fast break.
Bird's pass, and we're going to talk a little bit about why he's such a great passer. As Smith goes up and misses the shot, Lucas crashes. That's why the Nets wanted Lucas, but he stepped on the line out of bounds as Pistol Pete looks on from the Celtic bench, and Boston has it again. It's not so much the inside pass or the outlet pass, but all of them, the half-court passes, cross-court, those are the things that make Larry Bird the best passer for a big man, if not for any kind of a player, maybe in history.
He has great vision on the court. He looks under the basket, he sees the floor well, and then he can make the pass once he sees the man open.
ML Carr shooting over Lucas.
Wow, ML going out there pretty deep. He was close to that three-point shot. He's going to make Lucas play him.
So now the Celtics have crept to within 4 points of New Jersey. The Nets scored the first 10 points of the game, and we have a timeout. A 20-second injury timeout. Jan Van Bredikoff goes over to Fritz Massman, the Nets trainer. But it's been a well-paced game thus far.
Yes, it has.
And a lot of people thought coming in with the Nets have nothing to play for and the Celtics driving for that best record, it would be a blowout. And of course, it could turn out to be that way. But it's been a end-to-end game.
Well, Dick, I think a couple of things here that the Nets have been concerned with, and they've been controlling pretty nicely. One, that's the Celtic fast break. They knew that they must get back, prevent those easy shots. And number two, not let Boston force them into a lot of turnovers, which is what they've done in the past.
The Nets could always use some more firepower, and that's what they're looking for in the draft. Smith penetrating on Henderson, and a good defensive play, and Larry Bird wrestles the ball away, and they're going to jump it up.
Nice defense by Henderson in that situation. And sometimes when you set game strategy, as we'll look at it again, here you see the point offense. You see Smith go inside, Henderson's hanging right there in the air, blocking the shot, and Bird coming up with it. You hope once you set strategy that your team doesn't go at it to the point that it hurts them.
Lucas with a turnaround, misses, and ML Carr fighting underneath, and they say Boston ball. So we're crashing down, and Carr is hurt, shaken up anyway. as he and Cliff Robinson crash the boards and the floor together. Looks like the right side, but he stays in.
Actually, ML's had some problem with his wrist this season, but fortunately it was not his wrist that time.
7:10 remaining in the first half, 32-28. The Celtics coming back inexorably here against the Nets. Carr with a good fake, leaving his feet was Lucas, and they almost got burned and ultimately paid by ML Carr.
What an effort by ML Carr. He's really playing a good first half here. He's doing everything. He's scoring and he's going to the basket, and once again he demonstrated he can pass. 6
points for ML Carr, and the Nets. Kevin Lockery wants a timeout, and his capacity crowd getting warmed up as it's 32-30. New Jersey still leads, but the Celtics are coming on. Lee Trevino, the third-round leader, and what a field with Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, Tom Watson. Tournament Players Championship final round coming up next. New York and Philadelphia playing an important game that has a bearing on the Knicks' playoff hopes as Cliff Robinson goes inside and is fouled. 33-32 the score. A close game. The Knicks were beaten by Washington last night, 122-113. So Washington stayed alive, and the Knicks are sweating a little bit. The personal foul was on Roby, his second, and Cliff Robinson will go to the line.
Cliff Robinson makes a nice move inside on that particular play, and with Robinson and Maurice Lucas in the game, they'll do a lot of posting up with these guys down low. They have a lot of strength, and actually coming into this game, Lucas felt that he should be getting the ball a little bit more than he has been.
This is a good situation that Kevin Lockery has because he has Robinson, who's been improving. He has the muscle man Lucas and Jan Van Predikov for the defensive effort against Bird.
The only problem is, I think, Dick, Van Predikov has to become more of a scoring threat if he's going to be more effective for his team.
Absolutely. ML Carr on the perimeter, going low to Bird, move on Van Predikov, blocked inside by Cliff Robinson. Good defense by Robinson. And now Smith controls outside. Lucas to Smith, off the hands of Van Predikov. A hard pass, but one he should have had. Atlanta, San Antonio. A big game for San Antonio, trailing in the second quarter to the Hawks, 38-37. And Atlanta, of course, wrapped up. They have a big 9-game lead over San Antonio in the Central. Spurs fighting for the playoffs. 34-30. The Nets have led all the way here, and Carr is fouled inside by Roger Fegley. The Nets' largest lead was 10, the start of the game. They're led by 6 at the quarter, and hanging on right here and going the line is ML.
And again, it's ML Carr coming from the weak side to the ball, and he's another player that will continually move without the ball. He's also good with the ball. He has range outside, and yet he goes to the basket. So when you as a defensive player go against a person like this, you certainly have your hands full. And Dick, so far in this game, Larry Bird has scored only 4 points in the last 17 minutes.
You've seen George Johnson and Mike Newland enter the game for the Nets as Lucas and Fegley go out. 6:01 remaining in the first half. Pressure, Newland. And it's Robert Smith bringing the ball up.
And this is how you bring it up against the Celtics, because they do have that pressure trapping type defense. Give it to your best ball handler and get away from him.
34-32, the Nets hanging on. Newland in the crowd, out to Smith. Swinging around to Jan, goes up, try to draw the foul. It was deflected, and here come the Celtics, 3-on-2, and laying it up, and it is Jeff Judkins, and the Celtics have come back to tie it up.
Judkins made that play. Actually, the ball was laid off to him just a little bit behind him by Henderson, but Judkins came up with it with good hands.
First tie with 5:25 remaining in the first half. Smith found an opening, drives in, and will have a foul. It'll be against the Celtics.
Henderson trying to get in front of Smith on that particular play, did not quite make it, therefore the foul.
Robert Smith, second year from Nevada, Las Vegas, 5'11", 165 pounds.
That's the 15th foul on the Celtics and only 3 on the Nets. Now the Nets have a good situation here. If they can keep the pressure on offensively, going to the basket, draw those fouls, they can go to the line for the easy points.
And they have a lot of time left in this first half.
Yes.
35-34, so Smith breaks the tie again. Nets are going to be moving into the Meadowlands in about a year or so, year and a half, and they've got perhaps 2 very high draft picks, maybe 6 and 7 in the first round, so Kevin Lockery looking forward to it. As he said, he has no intention of going to the Bullets. He wants to stay with the Nets.
Well, there's been a lot of discussion about that recently, of course.
You put an end to that. ML Carr working against the rookie Robinson. Cliff. And it's still Nets ball as Judkins tipped it out of bounds.
You know, something the Celtics do very nicely, they play the passing lanes, not only half court, but on the outlet pass. And that makes it difficult to run on them, at least a good fast break with any type of passing game.
36-34. Smith. The Nets have kept the middle open all the way. Robinson. Van Bredikov, and you're right, they'll let him shoot outside. Bird will give him the shot. Mike Newland pops and hits.
Tough shot, too. He caught the ball, put it up right away.
12 points for Newland. He's the high scorer for the Nets. And the high scorer in the game is Bird shot, and Judkins stayed in bounds, kept the balance. Good play by Robert Smith and a 3-on-1.
Oh.
Under his legs, a basket, and a pretty play by Robert Smith.
Well, actually, it wasn't necessary, but it was beautiful. And, of course, Newland then came in just in time to put it up with the left hand.
When you're out of the race, you can do things like that.
Don't make a mistake when you do that.
14 for Newland. Roby muscles in and gets 2.
Boy, Roby has really been a nice surprise, I think, for many people. And I'm one of them. You know, he's been a guy that really has learned his game very nicely since he's come here, and he goes to his game.
Under 4 minutes remaining first half, and Carr knocked the ball out of bounds, still Nets ball. And Kevin looking at Jack Neese, he thought there should have been a foul. Well, coming back now in the ball game as Roby goes out, as well as Larry Bird, is Dave Cowens and Cornbread Maxwell, who have been well rested.
And Maxwell's been having some difficulty coming back from an ankle injury. You know, he's a great field goal percentage shooter, always up in the 60 bracket, but he's been having some problems and really hasn't worked back into it yet.
He shot 1 for 8 against the Nets in Monday's victory. Unlike him.
You know, he's a typical example. He is not a great shooter, but he takes good percentage shots. He gets a lot of layups. He's great at the post-up game, therefore the good percentage.
Smith has hit 2 like that when he's forced the shot. But it worked for him, and it's 42-36 with 3:40 to go, and 10 for Robert Smith, who did not start the game. And we'll have a foul. It'll be on New Jersey, and that'll be their 4th team foul.
These Henderson and Smith go at one another. They're so quick. You'll get to see it here. Smith puts his hand on Henderson, gets called for the foul.
His first. So the next foul by the Nets will put him over the limit. Judkins, Cowens, pops left of the key. Judkins in the right place at the right time.
The Celtic guards have done a nice job hanging around that offensive board, and they've come up with a number of those rebounds.
42-38, New Jersey. 10-point lead was their biggest margin. The Nets tied it, the Celtics tied it up. They're up by 4 right now, 3:05 remaining, and we'll have a foul.
Foul on Maxwell, and that's the type of fouls I talked about, reaching foul, and for New Jersey to keep the pressure on them because the Celtics are over in the penalty with 5 team fouls. That puts the Nets on the line.
ML Carr's second personal foul, and Newland will shoot.
And Newland's a pretty fair free throw shooter, always has been. When he was at Houston with Rick Barry, Calvin Murphy, and Mike Newland, they had 3 of the best free throw shooters to ever play the game.
He's normally 87%. He's shooting 88% from the free throw line, so he's even better than he has been. He went over 10,000 points this year. In fact, he was against the Celtics on Monday, so he's had a grand year. 44-38. The Nets in front. 16 points for Mike Newland, averaging 21 a game. Under 3 minutes in the first half.
Gee, at this rate, he might get to 52 again.
Good drive by Gerald Henderson, who's averaged 6 coming in and has 4. Robert Smith, guarded by Henderson, who's overplaying the ball. Newland swings it to Johnson. Cowens all over him like a cat. George has his shot blocked, deflected by Cowens, picked off by Maxwell. Don't let those big guys handle the ball. It's only trouble, John.
That's right. And, of course, when that does happen, they try to double team him. As a matter of fact, the Nets wanted to do more double teaming when they came into this game.
ML wanted to go to Maxwell. He couldn't inside. Judkins, baseline, goes up, blocked away. Still Celtics ball.
That's a play so many teams use. Double screen, let the guard or forward come off of it, get the ball, make the play.
Oh, you got to give a lot of credit to these New Jersey Nets because the Celtics have been coming, but haven't been able to catch up. And that's the score with 2:12 to go in the half. Celtics have 5 seconds to attempt a shot. 2:12 remaining as you see the clock. New Jersey up by 4. Henderson to Jeff Judkins. And he's clobbered by Newland. Coming off the bench, an important statistic for the Celtics, especially this year, they've outscored the Nets, their reserves, 20-12.
And that really shows the progression of that bench over the year. People like Smith doing an outstanding job. Judkins, they didn't use him earlier in the year, and of course ML Carr has been there all along, all year as an outstanding sixth man.
Judkins on the line shooting. He has 3 to make 2. We're in the penalty situation as Newland argues the call with Jack Neese.
You know, on that particular out-of-bounds play, really a beautiful play by the Celtics. Cowens came in, set an initial screen away from the ball on for Judkins on Newland. Then he came around a double screen, and Newland really couldn't do much else without a lot of defensive help from his teammates.
Newland goes out with 16 points, replaced by Roger Fegley, number 22. So it's 44-42. The Nets by 2 as we now have 2 minutes remaining in the first half. We have a lot coming up at halftime, so stay with us. Review of the big games of the week, among other things. Fegley, watched by Judkins. Roger goes 2 seconds to go on the shot clock, and they're not going to make it. Gerald Henderson, 3-on-3 for the Celtics, and the Nets get back. Judkins over Robinson. He's got it.
Nice defense by the Celtics. Beautiful defense. And more importantly, they got their fast break going, and they find the trailer, and that happened to be Jeff Judkins.
Now a minute and a half. You see the time? 44-44, the second tie we have had in this game. Nets started the game with a bang, 10 straight points. Fegley goes low to Cliff Robinson. And a good second effort after Maxwell had blocked the ball the first time, but Cliff didn't give up, and the Nets are in front again.
Good effort by Robertson. He started to go around the screen, came back, and of course that left Maxwell away from him just for the moment.
Judkins was wide open. Robinson and Cowens saves it. Just had too much experience and muscle.
That's a foul on Robinson, I believe. Cowens going after the ball, and once he got the ball on the rebound, he did a smart thing. You could hear the foul being blown. You could hear the whistle go, but still he took the ball right back to the basket.
Washington won a big one over the Knicks last night, but Detroit leads at halftime, 58-55 over Washington. And that's a game that Washington should not lose if they really have intentions of making it close this final week.
That would be a big win for Detroit. They've certainly had their problems.
Same score. Philadelphia leading New York. Will try to get an update as Cowens hits 1 of 2. 1 point lead. The Celtics have not had a lead in this first half. 3 points for Dave Cowens. Bird and Cowens have not scored in this first half. Good defense again, but Roger Fegley recovers. Lucas over ML and Maxwell. And Lucas prevented a great outlet pass. The Celtics would have had 2 if it weren't for Lucas. Carr gives up the dribble. And we'll have a new man in for the Nets, Winfred Boynes, which we'll take a look. Big play for Lucas underneath.
Actually, here Maxwell gets the rebound. Now watch Lucas come over, and Maxwell thought he was fouling that play, but you're right. They prevented the outlet pass, and against the Celtics, that's what you must do because they look for it immediately.
32 seconds to go in the first half. George Johnson committed his first personal foul. Cowens is on the line for 2.
That was not a good foul by George. There was a reaching over foul on Cowens, and it put him right on the line.
We promised you we'd update the game, and we are in Philadelphia. 76ers with a 3-point lead over the Knicks, 51-48 in the second period. And now the Celtics, for the first time, have the lead, 47-46, with 28 seconds remaining in the first half. Winfred Boynes has come in. We'll talk more about him in the second half, number 34, as Smith outside with Henderson almost fell down. Fegley, watch close. Good man, good tight defense. Boynes goes in. Basket counts and a foul. Well, now we can show you Winfred, who has averaged over 20 points a game in his last 2, coming off the bench. He's on the line now, formerly the University of San Francisco, number 34. And he's one of the people Kevin's counting on in the future.
Boynes a real offensive player. He has size, he has quickness, and on that particular play, you could see him come to the ball, put the fake up, and you have to play him because he can post up around that line, and then he went right to the basket. He's a good player.
Final seconds. Don't forget NBA highlights coming up at the half. 7 seconds to go. Cornbread handling it. Henderson, 4 seconds. And Henderson's shot is good with 2 seconds to go, and that's it. And the Boston Celtics, with a basket by Gerald Henderson with 2 seconds remaining in the first half, have forged a tie. And John McLaughlin, whoever thought this would be the case?
I tell you, Wood couldn't predict it coming in, but the Nets have done an outstanding job, but they have their hands full going into this second period.
Right where we are.
There are 22 reasons to keep your eye on the NBA. Make that 23 reasons. The 23rd is you.
The preceding message was furnished by the National Basketball Association. The NBA on CBS is sponsored by Foamy, the shave cream that's more than thick and rich enough for a clean, close shave. The makers of Vitalis Super Hold, the pump. It holds and holds and holds some more. And by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer.
We're at Boston Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, where the Celtics and the Nets are tied at 49 all. And right outside the Garden this morning, Red Auerbach, the Celtics president and GM, fired the starting gun. As John Havlicek mentioned, over 5,000 runners, which included former Celtics Steve Kaburski, Hank Fickle, and Kevin Stakem, started the Shamrock Classic, the second annual running 5.5-mile road race. The winners were last year's champions, Greg Meyer, you see him there, age 25, and 24-year-old Patty Lyons, both from Boston. Now, if you missed them, you're not going to get another chance to see them. But anyway, this was the start right outside Boston Garden this morning. They like to run here, you know, as Red Auerbach urged them on. It's not the Boston Marathon, but it's perhaps the next best thing.
I think Red should run with them.
Right here, it's 49 all at halftime as we have the 30th home sellout here in Boston Garden in 39 games. So the fans have responded. Field goal percentage, as I said before the last commercial, the Nets shooting 50%. Rebounds, that's the important thing. Kind of even, and that's where you think the Nets should have been out of it. Huh?
Although the offensive rebounds, and we talked about that as it was going on, the Celtics got a number of them, but you don't expect the Celtics to shoot 42%. They're shooting almost 50% on the year. And
the Nets turned the ball over 6 times with just 3 for the Celtics. Been a relatively error-free ball game thus far as you look at the scoring. Mike Newland, 16 points, and Robert Smith didn't start the game, but he's been sharp in this game. Smith 4 for 7 for 10 points, and Lucas has 10. And looking at the Celtics scoring, Maravich 10, but look at the bottom. You got Bird with 2, Cowens with 5. We'll see if it stays that way.
I don't expect it to. I expect Bird to come out and have an outstanding second half. And one other area here, the Boston Celtics got 9 more shot attempts than New Jersey did.
Start of the second half, it's Tiny Archibald, number 7 in the backcourt with Pete Maravich, 44. Eddie Jordan, 15 at guard with Mike Newland, number 14. They go to Bird, watched by Van Bredikov, who has help and will have a foul on Jan Van Bredikov. So they're getting some help with Eddie Jordan sloughing off the guard to try to defend from the back Larry Bird, but he'll shoot.
Well, of course, in a post-up position like that, the Nets want to give as much double-team help as they can. And they'll do it a lot with Eddie Jordan, for example, and give the outside shot to Archibald, although in the past he's proven he can make that shot. And that's unusual right there. Larry Bird missing a free throw.
Cowens, Bird, Maxwell up front. The Nets have George Johnson, 52, the starting center. Maurice Lucas, 33, and Van Bredikov, number 20. And I told you about the guards. Mike Newland, their leading scorer, across the line. 50-49, the Celtics, they've had one lead, that by 3 points.
Actually, with the shooting percentages what they were, 42 for the Celtics and 50 for the Nets, the Celtics have to feel good about their position.
Yeah, they're sitting pretty.
That's right.
Jordan misses from the corner. Johnson, nice shuffle, and a bad pass by Van Bredikov. He will not shoot unless, I guess, he has a layup.
That's right, and again, we have to come back to that. He's going to have to work on that and improve that area of his game.
Philadelphia at halftime leading the New York Knicks 56-53. The Knicks have some tough road games to come, and they need a victory. They had a chance last night, and they could find themselves on the outside looking in.
Well, that playoff picture could go right to the last game.
I think it will. Maxwell, they give him the shot, and he responds in and out.
That's the longest shot I've ever seen him take.
He likes to go low in the hole, and another bad pass. Newland and Van Bredikov have made 2 bad passes, and Kevin Lockery is distressed.
And that's 8 turnovers for the game for New Jersey, and they've done a good job the first half, but that's an area that has plagued them in the past.
Archibald averaged 11 points. His worst year last year. He's averaging 14, but his value is in assists. And remember I said it was an error-free game?
Well, this game could change quickly in a lot of ways.
Opening minutes, second half. Dick Stockton and John McLaughlin from the Boston Garden, where the Celtics lead by 1. Eddie Jordan, Newland, short. Lucas, that's why they got him from Portland.
And there was the double pump fake again.
And he was hit from behind. Archibald was clobbered, and George Johnson just couldn't get away.
But Dick, once again, on this particular play, as you'll see, Archibald bringing it up, and at that angle, you can't really tell. But look, the Nets again, and Johnson just runs over him. They had a number of people back for the fast break, and that's smart. That's good.
2 team fouls on the Nets. Archibald has a pick from Cowens and a good one. Couldn't convert, and the Nets come down with it.
Nets doing a pretty good job of containing their penetration. The Celtics penetration once they set up half court also.
This is a club that'll run when they have the chance. Will slow it up. It's half and half. And, you know,
Right.
Kevin's doing what he can with what he has.
That's right. And I think they're doing a super job today. But when you come into Boston, you feel like you're sitting on a keg of dynamite waiting for it to explode.
Van Bredikov, good pass to Lucas, but for some reason, he wouldn't go up
Faked
the
again.
first time.
You know, actually, Milwaukee's Marcus Johnson's gotten into a habit of putting up the fake quite a bit. And you have to be ready to do that. But here it is again. He puts the fake up. Had he gone right into it, Dick, he would have had an easy 2.
And so when we come back, we'll have a jump ball. San Diego's trying to make the playoffs without Bill Walton and Lloyd Free, and they'll go against the Lakers with Kareem and Magic next Friday night, 11:30. The jump ball, and Maravich has it for the Celtics. Only 1 point has been scored in almost 2.5 minutes of this second half. Maravich against Newland. Pistol too strong off the glass. Now Newland working against Pistol. No one underneath except Jordan. Jordan double teamed with some big guys, and Larry Bird makes the steal. Maravich, pretty play by the Pistol. 12 points for Pistol. So it's 52-49 in favor of the Celtics with 3 minutes gone by in this third quarter.
Here's Larry Bird in the backcourt, and this is what he does so very well. Watch him push the ball up in front of Maravich, a nice shot.
Newland now has 18 points as he hit a jump shot, and it is now 52-51 in favor of the Celtics. 52-51 as Bird misses outside. And we'll have a foul. Dave Cowens called for the loose ball foul. That's his second personal foul. A tight game throughout. The Nets scored the first 10 points of the game. They had a 6-point lead at the quarter. Celtics forged back to earn a 49-49 halftime tie. 52-51 Boston now. Jordan penetrating. Archibald, the rebound to Maravich now. And the Pistol will pop left side. The bank doesn't go Lucas, and the Nets have an opportunity here. Newland, Celtic getting back on defense. You know, this is not a great individual defensive team, the Celtics. They're not that quick, and that's the team defense that Fitch has put in.
That's exactly right. It's a great team defense, and that's why they're rated in the top 6 and 7 all year long in the NBA. Oh.
Basket good on a nifty hook shot by George Johnson. George Johnson, who has known what it's like to be on a championship club with Golden State Warriors.
And Abdul-Jabbar skyhook this is not, but he flips it in with that long reach of his for a potential 3-point play.
He came out of Dillard College in Louisiana in 1970. He was drafted by Chicago, played semi-pro ball for a couple of years, and then teamed up with Clifford Ray for that 74-75 Golden State Championship. Now he's with the Nets.
And Rick Barry taught him to shoot that free throw.
Cowens with a hook shot of his own, and Lucas the rebound.
That was a clear-out play for Cowens, and the Celtics still having problems putting the ball in from the field.
The Nets by 2, 7:40 remaining third quarter. Newland, the Nets in the dark uniforms, guarded by Maravich with the green knee braces. Or knee guards, not braces. Top of the key, Eddie Jordan, and he's been forcing a lot of shots this year, has Jordan.
Well, when they go in, a coach will let you do that.
He has 6 in the ball game, and now the Nets with a 4-point lead. They have played a smart game, haven't lost any poise. Maravich in and out, rebound Lucas, and Lucas is doing quite a job off the defensive board.
Well, Lucas is going to it, but here almost turnover. It comes right back to Eddie Jordan.
Johnson can't shoot it. Van Bredikov.
As big as Lucas is, that's a 3-pointer. As big as Lucas is, he should do a job on the boards.
Maravich against Newland, thinks better of it. Quick passing team to Tiny Archibald, but not this time. Johnson and Lucas, and the baseball pass out to Newland in the middle, and Newland will go up. If it had dropped, it would have counted.
Nice continuation by Newland on that particular play. Actually, the Nets trying to get some running game going here. Watch the outlet pass here from Lucas to Newland. Now you see the Celtics coming back. He goes past Maravich, draws the foul, takes it in for 2.
It'll be a showcase for Darrell Griffith of Louisville and Kiki Vandeweghe of UCLA, and they're going to be shooting for a national championship. But you can see Griffith and Vandeweghe, among others, next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
Problem with Griffith, he can't jump. Gee, 48-inch vertical jump.
Jumping. Mike Newland hit the first free throw and had a complaint, which is kind of unusual.
Well, he thought there was some movement on the line by the Celtics players.
All right, 1 out of 2. The shooting is horrendous in this third quarter. Boston 1 for 9. Jersey 3 for 9. 22% for both clubs.
And the Celtics didn't exactly burn it up in the first half, so that doesn't help that much.
No, they were 42%. Bird looking in, finds Maxwell, second one through, spins around and travels. Traveling by Cornbread Maxwell.
The Nets have done an outstanding job of not allowing the Celtics post-up position. Maxwell, Bird, and even Cowens, and that's why they're not shooting that well.
6:26 to go, set play. We're in the third quarter and a 57-52 net lead. Team fouls, 3 for the Celtics, 2 for the Nets, and the ball rolls off a leg. So it is still going to be Nets ball with Jan Van Bredekov inbounding. There's Maurice Lucas. He's done a good job off the board.
Yes, he has, and I'll tell you, the Celtics must get that running game going. That'll get them out of the doldrums they're in right now.
Van Bredekov is the son of Bill Van Bredekov, the longtime NBA coach. Now Lucas, watched by Cornbread, and a foul. Cornbread a little too overzealous there.
Now Cornbread reaching in on Lucas, and all they did there in that situation, and Portland did this for Maurice Lucas also. Look at this, just clear out, let him work one-on-one, and there's the foul.
That's the 4th personal foul on Cornbread Maxwell, and he's the only one with 4. No one else has 3 in the game. 6 minutes exactly remaining third quarter, a 5-point net lead, and they're playing smart. Archibald overplaying Jordan and giving Eddie the layup, but he can't click it. Tipped up and in by Maurice Lucas.
Actually, it looked like Larry Bird may have tipped that in, trying to get his hand on it, but it does go to Maurice Lucas.
Let's just say he was number 33.
Okay.
59-52. The Celtic crowd a little anxious now, and a loose ball batted away, and the Nets have it. And now they are orchestrating the tempo of this game. The New Jersey Nets, who are 0-5 against the Celtics, have been wiped out in all but one game against Boston, have really held the poise on the road court. Newland, good pass to Lucas, but he couldn't hit it. Archibald. Crowd getting a bit anxious. Maravich, Rivers. What a play by the pistol.
Beautiful effort. And Dick, I said this is what they must do. Get that running game going, and here it is. Maravich coming in from one side, double pumping, flipping it up, and it's in.
And on the other end, Newland hit a running jump shot. He has 21 points to match his season's high, and Jersey comes right back with 2, and Bird is hit by Van Bredekov, and the foul will be on Jan. You know, the Nets are doing what the Celtics have always done. Whenever you get burned on a hoop, come right back with one.
That's what you have to do, come back at him quickly. And part of the Nets strategy, as I've given you throughout the game in this game, and one thing I did not mention was play Larry Bird without the ball, try to keep the ball away from him, and he has not had it a lot in this game.
Van Bredekov, 3 personal fouls. Maravich was double teamed, puts it up anyway. Doesn't fall.
Oh, that was on the
rim.
rim.
We have a loose ball on Boston. Might have been on Rick Roby, who entered the game. Now let's look at the scores as they go to the other end. What a game in Philadelphia. 76ers lead the Knicks 60-59. San Antonio fighting. They're leading Atlanta 60-57 in the third quarter. I think we're going to go down to the wire. Washington now has the lead over Detroit 74-68. Don't count out the Bullets.
That's right, and with a win there, and if New York loses, boy, that tightens that race up even more. And in this game, the Nets in the penalty, as you look at George Johnson with the Rick Barry free throw, and he shoots it very nicely, and yet the Nets with only 3 team fouls.
Johnson hits them both. 63-54, 9-point lead, the biggest lead the Nets have had since they had 10-0 at the start, way back at the beginning of the game. 4.5 minutes to play, third quarter. Maravich low to Bird against VGK. Fake, and a block. Bird, hook, no. Cowens, Bird, inside. Cowens, and it's Dave Cowens, and no basket. I think they might have disallowed the basket. Let's wait and see.
What an outstanding effort this was. Watch all this action here. Actually, watch this play. Roby and Lucas went off the court out of the play. They were arm wrestling one another, couldn't get untangled.
It counts. The basket counted. Cowens with a tip-in. Goaltending was called. 63 to 56 with 4:05 remaining in the third. Lucas and Cowens collide. Basket counts by Lucas and a foul on Cowens. And I'll tell you, the Nets come right back. Whenever they give up two, they get two.
Lucas gets open for just a moment. There, that time the fake worked. He drew the foul on a potential three-point play.
14 points for Maurice Lucas, who's doing it all, muscling, hitting outside when he's been open, and the rebounds at both ends. Cowens with 3 personal fouls, under 4 minutes to go in the third quarter, and a 10-point lead for New Jersey. Roby with a lefty hook, no good.
The Celtics cannot make the ball go in the basket. I've been very impressed with the Nets defense, but still, the Celtics have been missing some easy shots like that one.
This capacity crowd can't believe their eyes. They kind of counted this in the win column before they started. Newland coming back, and the biggest lead of the game, Newland with 23 points, and the biggest lead in the game now for the New Jersey Nets. And you can hear a pin drop here in ancient Boston Garden. With
Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, Larry Bird and the Boston Celtics have an appointment with the doctor.
You'll say you saw it on CBS Sports.
Well, if the Celtics stumble and Philadelphia gets hot, that game next Sunday between the Celts and the 76ers with Larry Bird, Cowens, and Dr. J is going to have a bigger meaning besides getting set for the playoffs, because you know they're going to probably meet then.
Well, it'll be a white-knuckle job anyway. You know that. They're going to go at one another. M.L. Carr in the game for the Celtics on the back line to go against Newland.
What a pass! Nate Archibald swinging around, left uncovered. 6 points for Nate. In the third quarter, New Jersey has outscored the Celtics 19-9. 3:05 remaining in the third. That was a work of art, that last play. Johnson got free, stuffs it through Roby. Roby and M.L. Carr were there.
Actually, Newland set that up. He cut through the lane, took 2 defensive people with him, and that left Johnson open.
Archibald, Eddie Jordan falls down. No foul. Carr, and Roby gets stuffed inside. This is an inspired New Jersey Net outfit. M.L. Carr banks it in, and the score now is 70-60. But if Kevin Loggery is looking for pride, he's seeing it this afternoon.
And M.L. Carr showing you his versatility, coming in, playing guard, and of course with the size, trying to match up against Newland.
Steal by Archibald. Here he comes. And it's now 8. It's now 8, and you see the time at the upper right-hand screen. Celtics coming.
The Celts doing what they must do. Start tightening up on that D and running that ball up the court. That's when they're awesome.
They want to slow that pace, no question about it. Bank shot no good, and we'll have a Boston foul. 14 points for Maravich, 10 for Carr, the leading scorers, as Bird has 3. And Cowens has 7. The Knicks have taken the lead over Philadelphia, 69-67 in a seesaw affair at the Spectrum, third quarter.
What a game that must be. And in this game we have one here. Newland, that time missing another free throw today. Having problems in that area. He still has 2 to come. They're in the penalty. But they just cleared out one side, gave him the ball, let him go one-on-one.
It was M.L. Carr who committed the foul.
He missed another free throw. Mike Newland on the year, shooting almost 89% from the line.
1 out of 3, and Mike is upset. Less than 2 minutes to go in the third. Newland has 24 points, a 9-point lead for the New Jersey Nets, who have been the dominant factor in this game to the shock of everyone. Rick Roby is low, goes up, it counts, and a foul. George Johnson hit Roby, who used the body well.
Rick Roby doing an outstanding job all year long. Watch the post up. They take Cowens outside, post Roby up. He goes to the left hand and draws a potential 3-point play.
Gary Player 8 under, Ballesteros, Green, Trevino 7 under, Nicholas 6 under. We'll have a great finish at the Tournament Players Championship from Jacksonville Sawgrass following the game. And we look like we're going to have a good one here. And the Nets are going to call timeout. 71-65 as Roby completes the 3-point play. and Kevin Logry, who has been kind of calm with the referees, which is unlike him.
For Kevin, he's been calm. Of course, he'll wear out a lot of shoe leather. He never sits down, and he's upset because he thought Cowens got a little rough on that particular play with Lucas.
Monday night on CBS starts with the Peanuts gang having tremendous fun on It's Arbor Day, Charlie Brown. Then don't miss the hilarious premiere of the Stockard Channing Show as consumer advocate Stockard outcons the con artist, followed by some April Fools on MASH. And then Polly Holiday premieres as the fun-loving Flo, now running her own Texas Roadhouse, Flo's Yellow Rose. And on Lou Grant, paying for news sources becomes an issue, all on CBS Monday night. Boston Garden, and as we said, the 30th sellout in 39 home games, and you can look at the crowd behind the net bench, not smiling, and you can understand why.
Well, actually, I came in here for a number of years to play against the Celtics, and sometimes that crowd behind the bench could get a little tough on you.
They've got good aim, don't they?
They sure do, I'll tell you. They've got a great vocabulary also. Actually, I enjoyed playing here. It was a super place to come in and play because they appreciate good basketball, as they do in New York, and no matter who it comes from.
Atlanta now leading San Antonio 72-64 in the third quarter as the NBA playoff berths go down to the wire in this final week starting. Newland will inbound with 1:46 remaining in the third, 71-65, and every time the Celtics have come in and even taken the lead, the Nets have been equal to the task. Eddie Jordan.
Newland that time wanted to clarify with the official, Jack Neese, can I run the baseline? After a score, you can.
Next foul by the Nets will put him over the limit. 9 seconds on the shot clock. George Johnson to Van Bredikoff. They have a lot of non-shooters in the lineup, the Nets do. BBK goes up, misses. Cowens the rebound.
Boy, in the Celtics defense there that time, they had to force up a shot. They were trying to post up Maurice Lucas, couldn't get the ball into him.
Newland was guarding Bird on a switch, and Johnson against Roby. Lucas the rebound. He has been tremendous. We're winding down to 1 minute remaining in this third quarter.
The Nets defense has been very good once they forced the Celtics into a setup. That's another reason the Celtics have to get running.
And that's why the rebounding by Lucas is so important off the defensive
He's
board.
in position.
Newland loses the ball, and Tiny Archibald has Carr on his left. He feeds ML, and ML goes up, tipped up and in by Cowens. And that's what you call filling the lane on a trailer.
That's exactly right. Stay with it. Dave Cowens on the right side that time. Had he not been there, he wouldn't have been in position for the tip in.
40 seconds to go, third quarter. New Jersey by 4. Jordan setting it up. Lucas, 14 rebounds, 7 of them in this third quarter, and we will have a foul against the Celtics. Dave Cowens, and for Dave, that will be his 4th personal foul. So Cowens and Cornbread Maxwell each have 4, and of course they're in the penalties. Lucas shooting 2.
That was a good call. Cowens got caught on the reach in, and Lucas that time showing some quickness at putting the semi-fake up because it really wasn't all out as he misses a free throw. The Nets having problems in those areas, but then putting the ball on the floor, going to the basket, and Cowens, he didn't even contend that call.
Well, when Newland misses 2 out of 3, you know you're having trouble.
That's right.
All right, 29 seconds to go now. 22 on the shot clock. 5-point lead for Jersey. Third quarter. 15 on the shot clock. Cowens, as the Celtics once again forced to set up, almost a steal by Jordan, but Archibald controls. 5 seconds on the shot clock, and here's a steal. Jordan, watch Cowens. Basket counts and a foul. First, you got to give Cowens, who is so frustrated, kicks the ball away, and a technical foul has been called. Let's see how he hustled and then got messed up.
He made a great effort right here, but Cowens is one of those players, as you see Jordan come through with a potential 3-point play. Cowens, one of those players that will go for the fakes, Dick. So he's a good guy to show it to because he wants to go up for that block. And we have Newland on the line right now on a technical foul against Cowens for kicking the ball.
Cowens raced down the court and actually beat Jordan to the hoop. He makes the technical, 75-67.
It makes it a 4-point play potentially.
5 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
Jordan really went down with it. Of course, maybe he wanted to be sure the foul was called and saw Cowens coming into him. But that was a great effort by Jordan, and Archibald having his problems today. They've been harassing him pretty much once he has the ball trying to set the offense.
Well, this could have been a 5-point play. 4-point play, you're right.
4, yeah.
Celtics won't be happy to hear that. Hits the free throw. Final second, 76-67. Once again, it's 9. 3 seconds to go. ML Carr will have to put it up. No way. That's the end of the third quarter. So the Celtics came close again, but it was the Nets with good defensive play, good rebounding, forcing the Celtics into deliberate style, and they're up by 9. We're back at Boston Garden for the start of the fourth quarter. Dick Stockton with John McLaughlin. Larry Bird does not have a field goal in this game. He has but 3 free throws, and that's part of the story as the Nets lead at 76-67. 76-67. The Nets controlling the tempo in the game. They shot 47% in the third. Boston 8 for 27, a lowly 29%. Tells the story.
The Nets have answered one challenge by the Celtics. Open it up again, but you can bet there will be another run at them.
Jan Van Bredikov hits the field goal, and that's his first points of the game. And it's now 78-67, 11-point lead.
He must have heard you and I talking about him, saying he's going to take those shots.
Anything that does it. Henderson inside. Basket good, and a foul. Gerald Henderson, and Kevin Lockery is claiming that Henderson had elbows flailing when he went in.
Here you see the same offense that the Nets have been running all day, the clear out with a point guard offense, and of course Henderson just taking it going one-on-one and making a tough basket.
4 personal fouls on George Johnson and Gerald Henderson on the line. Jordan. Steal by Carr.
Actually, the ball went off of Jordan's knee, and Carr right there with the good defense to take it away.
Henderson at the point right now, goes to the corner. Larry Bird for 3. And that's his first field goal. Larry Bird gets 3 on his first basket of the game. And it's 78-72, Celtics down by 6.
And he's one of the best in the NBA at the three-point range. He ranks 3rd in that particular area.
So Larry Bird, if he starts to cook up and get warm, the Nets could be in trouble. And a loose ball steal. Henderson, Fernstein, a basket. Eric Fernstein has just entered the game, and he gets the layup. And now there's confusion with the score 78-74.
And actually, the Celtics doing it with one starter in the game. That's Larry Bird. And again, it's that double-team trapping defense.
An injured player. Lucas is hurt. It's his left ankle.
I didn't see what happened at that point.
I didn't see him off the court, John.
No, I didn't either.
But you're so right about the Celtics. They got Carr, Roby, Judkins, Bird, and Henderson.
They've gotten back into this game, and if they win this game, it will show their versatility and their depth now, because they've been doing it with a really off day by almost all of their starters.
I said Judkins. I meant Eric Fernstein from USF, who doesn't play all that much. He's a big guy to have, and Lucas limps to the bench. The Nets need him.
Actually, he's had a few good games this year.
So Newland, who scored 52 points in the best game the Nets had against the Celtics this year, a 3-point loss in December. Now Van Bredikov puts a move on Larry Bird, double teamed, and a foul. I like that move by Jan.
That was a beautiful move, and he shows some quickness there too. He crossed over on the cross dribble between his legs, and he takes it to the basket with the left hand. The Celtics try to get double team help, but the foul occurred.
That is the second personal foul by Bird, the first team foul in this final quarter by the Celtics. Each team has one team foul. 10:26 to go. Start of things in the fourth quarter. Washington 104, Detroit 92. Bullets pulling away, and they need help from other people.
And on this play by Van Bredikov, I guess if Larry Bird has a weakness, it might be a little slowness defensively, but he makes up for it so well because he's a smart player.
All right, here's Robert Smith, who played most of the first half and performed well at point guard for the Nets, doing what you said they were going to do, and that is penetrate Archibald. But Nate is not in there right now. George Johnson just batted the ball back. ML Carr brings it down. So now the Celtics setting it up. Gerald Henderson, watched by Robert Smith. Henderson trying to penetrate, gives the dribble up, his shot way off, but Carr is there. ML inside. Fernstein. Celtics have 100 shots at the hoop. The Nets can't get the ball and a whistle. And it goes the other way. A foul will be called against the Celtics, apparently, for loose ball.
Well, if you get enough opportunities at the basket, you should eventually win the teddy bear, but that time they just could not put it in. ML Carr playing guard, continuing to come up with some pretty big offensive rebounds because he's going to the boards with the big guys.
They stepped out of bounds. It was no loose ball foul as Smith penetrates it is short. Fernston, the rebound. Henderson. Wide open is ML, but now Newland picks him up. 9:20 remaining in the game. Larry Bird, not this time. The rebound, George Johnson. So with Lucas on the bench with an apparent ankle injury, it's got to be George to do the job off the board.
And right now, the Celtics rushing their shots just a little. There's plenty of time. They don't have to get in that big of a hurry, and that is what they're falling into at this point.
80-74, the Nets lead, and now 82-74. Mike Newland with 27 points.
Well,
he is 6 over his season's average.
Dick, he does such a great job of coming off the low picks out to the top of the circle, and he can turn and shoot quickly.
Perimeter passing by the Celtics. Roby is low. Weak side is Bird. Jan Van Bredikoff watching him. Double team on Roby, but he took too many steps.
Well, he forced that in that situation. They double teamed him nicely. Here's the double team, and actually for a moment there, Fern's team was open. He went to the basket, but you could see the travel.
8-point lead for New Jersey, and unless they totally collapse, they have a great shot at winning this one.
Well, the Celtics have to keep running. You can tell that their offense half court, once it's forced to set up, is not that sharp, and the Nets defense is there.
Henderson and Smith. Smith penetrating, draws the foul. That's the second team foul on the Celtics, and a shooting situation for Robert Smith, 5'11" from Nevada, Las Vegas.
Now watch him here. He does a nice job of putting his body into Roby. Roby coming toward him and then putting the ball up, and that's how you draw fouls in the NBA.
Update on the Knicks and the 76ers. Back and forth. The Knicks lead 79-75. Plenty of time at the Spectrum as Dave Cowens comes back for the Celtics. Cliff Robinson, number 45, is back in the game, the young 20-year-old, and Pistol Pete Maravich replaces ML Carr. Maravich has scored 14 points.
Actually, Maravich in for Larry Bird, and therefore ML Carr will move up to the forward position.
There you see the score, Atlanta leading. Smith with the free throw. ML Carr did not go out, he stayed in, so a backcourt of ML Carr, Gerald Henderson, and Maravich. They use actually a 3-guard offense at this point. ML a swingman, of course. Maravich goes low to Rick Roby. But he's got stuffed by George Johnson. Cowens with a hook. No good. Tipped up by Roby. Carr tries. Loose ball. Johnson gets the outlet pass to Mike Newland. 2-on-2. He pulls up with a jumper, and he's got it. What a game from Mike Newland.
Mike Newland, that's where he's tough. He can get the defensive man backpedaling as you look at him. He got Maravich on the back pedal. He put in the jump shot.
29 points for Mike Newland, and he is the reason why New Jersey has this shocking lead in the fourth quarter. Flag-to-flag coverage from Long Beach next Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and the time trials and a preview Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular. That's our score. 12-point Jersey lead with 7:49 remaining in the game. Lucas is still on the bench with that bad ankle. Timeouts remaining. The Celtics have 2 and the Nets have 4. That may be a factor. ML Carr outside. On a weave, Maravich with a Cowens pick. Gets his own rebound. Now Dave picks it up, and he in and out. A lot of balls aren't dropping for Boston today.
That's right. The Celtics doing a magnificent job on their offensive board, getting enough opportunities up, but they just cannot put it in the basket.
86-74. Celtics are now going to begin to start running out of time if they don't put something together soon.
That's right. Well, there is still plenty of time, and the Nets must keep that in mind and continue to play their game. Don't tighten up at this point.
Robert Smith missed. Celtics coming down patiently here. Don't forget, Tournament Players Championship golf follows, and Gary Player and Lee Trevino are tied for the lead at 8 under par. Gerald Henderson hits outside. Big basket for Henderson, who has 10 points in the game. That's 4 points over his season's average, and pressure in the backcourt, beaten by Smith.
And we're going to see a lot of backcourt pressure and a lot of double teaming like you see right here.
He was hit twice. And they said he lost it. I don't understand it. It's right in front of us, John.
He went out of bounds is what he did. As a matter of fact, before that, he traveled. Now you'll see it here. He lays his hand down. He's not traveled yet. He's not out of bounds yet. And now he lunges forward, goes out of bounds.
Of course, no one touched him, right? 6:35 remaining in the ball game.
Hey, they're going to see a lot of that double teaming from this point on.
Henderson had a pick from Cowens. Pass back to Dave. I think Dave,
he didn't roll. He popped back. And there's a turnover by Newland.
Over the top, palming against Newland. So the Nets with an opportunity to give it right back to the Celtics. Turnovers, New Jersey 15, the Celtics 10.
You know, it's important, even though Newland turned that over, it's important that the Nets continue to run, continue to push the ball up the floor, because that's what they've been doing today.
10-point lead for New Jersey. 0-5 against the Celtics this year. They've lost by an average of 17 points. Maravich jumping up and down as the ball wouldn't drop for him. As the Nets slow it up, and Kevin Lockery calls the play, as you can see at the top of your screen from the bench. Robert Smith, number 10. Johnson, 52. Cowens smothering him. Low to Cliff Robinson. Turn around. Van Bredikoff volleyballs it back to Smith.
Smart play by Van Bredikoff, and smarter play by Smith to bring it back out and use up some time.
Go to Robinson and Maxwell. No, they said Robinson pushed off Maxwell.
That's a wipe away. Maxwell did a good job of defense. Now watch it here. They swing the ball around to Van Bredikoff. Maxwell up on the ball side with his hand in front of Robinson, and Robinson pushes him away.
3 fouls now on Cliff Robinson in a 10-point lead, and the crowd starts to turn it on now with 5:35 remaining in the game. Cowens flipping. Henderson. Baseline. Maxwell is fouled by Johnson, who doesn't agree with that.
And once again, it's that offensive rebounding by the Celtics to keep the ball alive. George Johnson is right there. Here's Maxwell. George Johnson goes up, and that looked like a pretty clean block from that angle, but Jim Capers right on the play. He's a very capable official.
And that really hurts the Nets, because that's the 5th personal foul on George Johnson. 5th personal on George Johnson.
And only 2 for the Celtics.
Cornbread Maxwell likes to play low, and he hits the free throws. 86-78. 8-point lead today for Cornbread. Shooting has been down lately, but he is one of the best as a forward. Cliff Robinson fakes, puts it up, and he's got it. That's the kind of action you'll see when he gets experience. He's going to be murdered.
And with a guy like Van Bredikoff in the game, under that pressure, he can bring it up against a forward because he's quick and he can handle the ball.
Nets' biggest lead was 12. It's at 10 right now as we wind down to 5 minutes to go. Cowens, patented outside shot. He plays center like a forward, and that's one of the reasons why.
And he has to do that. George Johnson did not even come out and play him in that situation.
88-80, New Jersey leading the Celtics. Celtics lost last night to Cleveland. They don't want to lose momentum going into that playoff.
That's right. And they still haven't completely put it away yet.
They don't have that best record sewed up. Newland, what a game for Mike Newland. He has 31 points.
And that was close to a 3-pointer, but only 2.
He scored 52 against the Celtics earlier this year. Mike Newland. He's been the heart and soul of this club.
Dick, and right now is when the Celtics could use Chris Ford, because he's a great 3-point shooter.
Good point. As Henderson hits, Chris Ford had the flu. His mother passed away. They're going to wait for the playoffs before Chris comes back into action. He was a starting guard.
And now it may look like they're going to need those 3-point shots.
90-82, 4 minutes remaining in the game. Cliff Robinson, Van Bredikoff, stuffed by Cowens, and here comes Maravich. 3-on-3. ML Carr had the shot, passed it up. They need points. The pistol. Cowens fighting from behind, and a loose ball and a jump ball, and they're playing this with all-out intensity.
Oh, wow. Dave Cowens. Boy, is he a competitor. I love him. And he made a beautiful block at the other end on Van Bredikoff, and then he still got into the break and came up with a jump ball. Now Maravich is out, Larry Bird back in. That moves ML Carr back to the guard position with Henderson.
Bill Fitch should be coach of the year. He said, I'm going to take a chance on Nate Archibald. This is my reclamation project. He had Larry Bird, but he had to get Cowens motivated again, and he had to put this group together, and he's done it. Out of bounds. It's Nets ball. As you mentioned, Bird is back in, but we have to re-emphasize the fact, John, that he has 1 field goal in this game, a 3-pointer.
But he's always a threat. He is always a threat. He's a smart player. He's a money player.
Clock becoming a factor in an 8-point lead for New Jersey, as Robert Smith, who has been a superb point guard today for New Jersey, controlling. Penetrate to Henderson. Missed the shot. Bird. Look at that pass. What a terrific pass. It didn't work out. Still Celtics ball, but look how he led him with that low bounce pass.
That was a beautiful pass. He hit it right on the money, but it was a dangerous pass. Two little quick guys. These guys could pick your pockets before you knew it even happened. They're so quick. But still, the ball comes back to the Celtics.
And Maurice Lucas is back in the game. He's going to play ankle and all as Cliff Robinson, the young rookie, goes out. 3:15 to go. Bird will fire it up and short, and the Nets have it. 90-82, and a basket here for the Nets could be big.
Larry Bird having a difficult time getting that shot off because the Nets have been keeping body control, body contact with him, and he has not been drawing the foul.
Well, maybe Kevin agrees that a basket here would be important because he's taking this moment to call a timeout. 3:01 remaining in the game, and the Nets in a surprising 90-82 lead over the Boston Celtics. And if you've enjoyed the pictures and excitement of the game, you can thank our producer Bill Barnes and director Tony Verna for a job well done as usual. And a 5-second call against Mike Newland gives the ball over to the Celtics. And you know, Newland's experienced man.
That's right, and that was some beautiful defense by the Celtics, overplaying the passing lanes, forcing them into that turnover. That could be key.
8-point lead for the Nets, and they're going to have to play some tough D.
Need a basket here.
Henderson off balance, blocked by Johnson. Crowd thought goaltending, but it was not. And Van Bredekoff and Newland saved it for Robert Smith. So a big break for New Jersey and a big play by George Johnson, who's one of the best shot blockers in the league.
He certainly is. He anticipated well, came up to give help on Henderson then, and that was not a goaltend at all.
10 seconds on the shot clock. You see the time in the upper right-hand corner. Newland has his shot blocked, deflected, taken down by ML. Carr has it, still an 8-point net lead. Henderson is left wide open, and he hits. It's 90-84.
And Lucas having problems again. He has to get out of the game. And we have a violation. They stepped out of bounds. The Nets stepped out of bounds.
New Jersey called a timeout. I saw New Jersey call a timeout.
What happened, Dick? Here you'll see the turnover, but what happened? Oh, the ball was bounced out of bounds. You could see it hit the line. You can't do that.
They're going to have a conference when we come out, and I think it did. I think it went against Kevin. It went against Kevin. We'll see. All right, let's clarify what happened. Lucas called a timeout before the violation, and Kevin Lockery didn't think that they called it that way, and as a result, he got hit with a technical foul, and Cornbread Maxwell is shooting it right now.
And that technical foul could be very costly to the Nets. If Maxwell does make this, that may come back to haunt Kevin.
And the technical foul shot is good, and it's 90-85.
All out man-to-man pressure by the Celtics in the backcourt.
Van Bredekoff gets it to Newland. 2 minutes and 10 seconds now remaining. They get it across. Smith to Robinson. He's a young kid, played most of this year as a 19-year-old, youngest in the league. Shot clock has 10 seconds. Newland double team. That's what they're doing in a foul call. A foul call. It'll be a not a shooting foul, of course, but it just stops things.
Right. Goes to side court. Van Bredekoff with it out.
They have a new 24 seconds to get it out, and now we have a foul. And it's a penalty situation, and the Nets will shoot 2. So, and they foul there. They gave the Nets a new 24-second clock. And, of course, it was academic because they fouled immediately. And, of course, that's what you want to do when you're behind late in the game is stop the clock every chance you can get.
That's right. That's what the Celtics have to do. But you don't want to stop the clock and give them 2 points like they may do in this situation.
Newland is on the line. Hits the first one. Don't forget he's an 88% free throw shooter. Timeouts remaining 2 apiece. Newland has 32 points.
That's something else, Dick. You have to know who you're fouling, and you can't foul a Mike Newland, for example.
92-85, under 2 minutes to go. Larry Bird 1 for 12 from the field in this game. Perhaps his worst performance from the field this year, and we'll have a foul on Cliff Robinson. Now that wasn't a bad foul for the Nets.
That goes side court, and actually at this point the Celtics only have one player that's a legitimate 3-point shooter in the game, and that's Larry Bird, and he's had a off day to say the least.
Inbounds to Gerald Henderson, watched by Robert Smith. You watch the clock yourself. They go into Maxwell, almost lost it. Henderson hit. 92 to 87, 5-point lead, and a full court pressure. And in trouble is Smith, and they call a foul on the Celtics, and a good call by referee Jack Neese.
That's right, Dick. That was absolutely a good call. You'll get an opportunity to see it here. Now watch the double team trap, and you'll watch Henderson stick that right leg out and, of course, fall down trying to draw the foul, and that will put the Nets on the line.
You know, they have people out there, the Nets do, that could make inexperienced mistakes that could help the Celtics. I'm talking about young Cliff Robinson and Smith, who hasn't played that much, and their poise has been exemplary today.
That's right, and they're the people that help get you this lead, so they're the ones you have to go with.
Jan Van Bredikoff, number 20, will be watching Larry Bird. 3 to make 2 on that backcourt foul. Robert Smith makes the first one.
Boy, this is when the fouls become so important, and when you can go to the line like the Nets are doing in this situation right now and make those, keep that lead.
And the Nets put some token pressure on. 1:35 to go, 94-87, 7-point lead for the Nets, who have nothing to play for. The Celtics everything to play for. Cowens hits. Here's the full court again, 94-89, but the Nets bring it across. Cliff Robinson. Better get it to a ball handler in a hurry. He does. VBK and Robert Smith, and this has been a net game if they can hold on. Smith. Robinson, 8 seconds on the shot clock. Out to Mike Newland. He's got 2 seconds, puts it up, gets his own rebounds off Henderson, and the Nets have it, and that could be the crusher.
Absolutely a good call, and Newland, he's the guy that made it happen. Now watch, they played the good defense on him here. He misses the shot, but watch him go for it. Now this is a gamble. If they got the rebound, they could go the other way for the layup with Newland under the basket, but they get it back.
Pass goes out to Smith. He had a full 24, of course, under a minute to go. 94-89. They're going to have to foul.
Well, that was a big play right there, getting the ball back.
And Robinson out to Smith as they open it up into a 4-corner 3-point attempt by Mike Newland, and that should ice it. Mike Newland with 36 points has hit a 3-point play, and it's 97-89 with 48 seconds to go, and Mike Newland has been brilliant. And this is the way the Nets shot up or set up the shot that might have broken the Celtics back.
Here the ball moves around to Newland at the 3-point line, and that's a long way out right there. He shoots the little set shot, leaving the floor just enough to get the ball in for 3.
Latest report out of Jacksonville in the Tournament Players Championship Golf Tournament, the final round which follows. Lee Trevino now has a 2-stroke lead over Ballesteros, Green, Nicholas, and a few others. It should go down to the wire. Keep in mind that this year the Celtics have been held under 100 points 7 times. They have lost 5 of them. So there's an indication of strategy as Bill Fitch maps out his.
Well, obviously they're going to have to look for the 3-point shots, and then they're going to have to try to get the ball back. But again, without Ford in the game, they don't have that many people other than Bird that can really put it up and look for it in this situation. But they're going to have to go for it, Dick.
Well, the Nets started out so beautifully, 10 points to start the game. Celtics came back to tie it. The Nets had a 12-point lead. The Celtics forced a 49 all tie at a half, and then the Nets maintained the lead. And you've got to give them a lot of credit against a club that wants to be known as the club that made the greatest turnaround in the history of the league, wants first place and the home court advantage in the playoffs.
Well, the Nets have done it with some super defense, and there's a almost 3-point play for Larry Bird.
It was a good play. Had it dropped, he would have had the chance for 3. So he'll go to the line and shoot 2. Penalty situation, he'll have 3 chances to make 2. And the foul was on Jan Van Bredikoff, his 4th. So Larry Bird, 3 to make 2.
Well, coaches love it when their team comes in and does just what he wants them to do, and the strategy works out. And Kevin Lockery said the last time it didn't work, today it did. They want to keep the ball away from Bird. They want to clog the middle. They want to go at Archibald as much as they can, and the Nets defense has been very good.
Jan's done a great job on Bird. 8 points for Bird, only 1 field goal. Loose ball foul against the Celtics. Good call again. ML Carr and Henderson surrounded Mike Newland, who's used to hitting the floor. Right?
That's right, he sure is. He should have pads on the way he goes to the floor, but he's a tough player. And here you see the triple team in the backcourt. Newland falling to the floor and Henderson coming up, reaching around him, committing the foul. The Celtics at this point doing everything they can, but it's a scratch back time and it's a little late.
Newland has 3 to make 2. It was a backcourt foul, and Mike having one of his brilliant performances of the year. misses his first. He's missed 3 free throws, and that's more than he'll miss in a week.
And he must love to play against the Celtics. He'd probably like to play them 82 games the way he's been scoring against them.
Now we check it. He's missed 4. But anyway, he has been the man for the Nets. 37 points. If he makes this one, they get the job done.
The way his knees look, he should wear dual knee pads on both knees.
Celtics will call timeout. Mike Newland has 38 points in the game, and New Jersey leads by 8 with 38 seconds to go. They got to shoot some three-pointers out of cannons. That's all they've got to do now. We'll be back.
Right guard knows that in equally active situations, men and women don't perspire equally. Men perspire more. That's why men count on Right Guard. Right Guard is so strong, so effective, it helps stop a man's perspiration odor all day long. Yes, men and women don't perspire equally. And that's why men count on Right Guard. Strong, effective Right Guard. Because men perspire more.
It is not easy for Pedro to accept the fact that my favorite Mexican snack does not come from Mexico.
Mexico.
Tostitos brand, crispy round tortilla chips.
Mexico.
They have an authentic tortilla taste.
Mexico.
In traditional flavor or nacho cheese, they are so thin and crispy, they even sound delicious. Believe me, Pedro, these are Tostitos.
Tostitos. Tostitos brand, an authentic tortilla taste from Frito-Lay.
And, John, the point you made when we were out of commercial, that really what the Celtics need are 3 three-point plays and not allowing New Jersey to score.
Oh, that's not hard to do, is
it's done
it?
all the time, right?
No big deal.
You know, we understand that the Celtics have lost 3 out of 4 games that they've appeared on CBS, and if they're going to go far in the playoffs, they got to turn that around because they're going to be seen a lot.
You know it. You know they better turn that around because they will be on quite a bit.
ML Carr will inbound from midcourt to Cowens. Clock running. 35 seconds to go. Dave going top. And Maxwell tries to save it. He does, but that's not what they need. Here's a three-point attempt way off the mark. And Bird has it. He's going for 3 again. And it's in and out. 23 seconds to go out of bounds. The Celtics certainly have had their chances.
You know, I realize
Boston ball.
This may not be pertinent to this game, but Larry Bird does such a great job on his release of getting the ball high up in the air. That's why he's such a good shooter.
Cowens can't find anyone. Goes to Bird. Bird fires it away, and Maxwell has it inside, and he is fouled inside. 17 seconds to go, but all those misses did were help the New Jersey Nets, who have an 8-point lead, and even the Celtics, as great as they have performed this year, would have to really dig down deep to pull this one.
That's right. And you know something that the Nets have done that's been very effective today? They've bodied Bird. Once he goes into his shot, they're not going for the fakes. They're not leaving the floor. They're keeping body contact with him, and consequently, they haven't been blowing the fouls, and he hasn't been putting the ball in.
Well, going back to what Kevin Lockery told us at the start of the game, and by the way, if you have missed that, he dispelled all rumors that he's headed to Washington to coach the Bullets. He wants to stay with the Nets. And he said that's pride, and that he is closely watching what his team does down the stretch because a lot of the judgments that he will make will affect what he does next year. And he's got to be pleased with what he's...
What happens when you lease trucks from Ryder? Memorex saved $126,000 with Ryder. Jack in the Box saved $212,000 with Ryder. Homelight cut costs $343,000 with Ryder. So if you still think leasing is expensive,
remember, over 4,000 companies lease trucks from Ryder, and they aren't exactly in business to lose money, are they? Ryder, the best truck money can lease.
If one of these chuck holes has your name on it, put your name on this. Firestone's inline all the time agreement. It gives you a complete front-end alignment whenever you need it for 5 years or 50,000 miles, whichever comes first. If you can't steer clear of chuck holes, and who can? Put your name on an inline all the time agreement at Firestone at a very low price.
Chapter 9. I kicked in the door and shouted freeze to the lone figure in the room. Even in the darkness, I could see she was the most beautiful woman I ever met. Then I saw the light beer from Miller. It's got a third less calories than a regular beer, and it's less filling, she whispered. But the best thing is, it tastes so great. Suddenly, all the pieces fell into place, and I knew I'd come to the end of a long, long road. She poured, We drank. To be continued.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Well, it's the Nets who have undergone the personnel changes. Lucas acquired for Calvin Nat, Fegley for Williamson, Kelly went to Phoenix. A lot of changes for the Nets, but they've been solid this afternoon. 17 seconds, and Van Bredikoff calls a timeout. And it should be the last timeout by the Nets, and neither club has a timeout remaining with 17 seconds to go. Wisely did Van Bredikoff, when he saw he was in trouble, say, let's talk it over again. So we're going to break again. The score hasn't changed. 99-93 in favor of the Nets. You'll see it next Sunday on CBS. And the 76ers will play Atlanta at home, road games against the Knicks in Jersey, and they close against the Celtics at home. They got to get it done in a hurry, and they managed to do it. It's intercepted, however, by Henderson. 15 seconds to go. Larry Bird, 3 points, no good. And there's a lot of physical activity going in. Someone might have been hit in the eye.
Great defensive effort by Van Bredikoff. Actually, Bird shouldn't have put the fake up. He should have gone right into the shot because he had his momentum going forward, and that's easier to put that three-point shot in if you have the momentum going toward the basket. But Van Bredikoff deflected it. He blocked it.
Well, I'll tell you something. The Nets had a shot a few weeks ago if they had won some close games of being in the thick of playoff picture. They lost. They've been sleepwalking lately. They've been playing, like someone said, like they're on vacation. But not today. And you can see the pride. And I have to say something. You know, I wasn't going to use the word pride because the impression I was getting was that the Nets just wanted to finish the season. But it didn't turn out that way today.
They came out today, and the Celtics have only lost 5 games here in the Garden this year, and this is number 6.
Johnson still has one left. 10 seconds to go. 100-93. Philadelphia defeated the New York Knicks. 112-108. Final score. Three-pointer is good by Judkins. Cuts it to 101-96, and we'll have a foul in the backcourt by M.L. Carr with 2 seconds to go. Well, the Boston Celtics have been held under 100 points now 8 times. If indeed they don't in 4 seconds get 4 points, and they will have lost 6 of them. So I think that is an indication of what you have to do against this club, don't you, in the playoffs?
Well, that's right. And, you know, one thing they've done today, and I think the Nets have done an outstanding job of not allowing that Celtic fast break to start. They've put the ball in the basket, they've controlled the boards at times, and they've gotten back on defense. And Van Bredikoff on the line as he misses the first. Interestingly enough, he is not that good of a field goal percentage shooter, but he's excellent from the line, shooting 85%.
Well, with Philadelphia winning and the Knicks losing, the 76ers will be 2 games behind Boston, and the Celtics still have to win 3 down the stretch. The New York Knicks were hurt. They're 38-41.
He missed
final
all 3
seconds, and the game is over. And the final score, 101-96. The Nets defeat the Boston Celtics. For John McLaughlin, Dick Stockton saying so long. The NBA on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports.
This is CBS.